Welcome to the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle, JCRB Kraus.
Hello, I'm here. I'm sick of this, all this. Not really. I'm not really all that sick anymore either. I may sound a little weird, but I'm on the upswing, so we're good now. Yay!
Kyle specifically made himself better just so we can answer these questions that come from our patrons over at patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, and our YouTube members.
Well, I'm not answering them. You are, so...
Well, you still got to engage with them to some degree.
Luckily, that's easier for me, because, I mean, if I had to answer these questions, oh boy, I don't know what I would say. Like, I don't know, go ask Ian. That's probably what I would say. Or, I don't know, Google it. Or, I don't know, do whatever you want. I don't care.
The zen of the BumbleKast. Kyle, what is the answer to life?
I don't know. Let me know if you figure it out, because I haven't.
Grab me a drink on the way back, too.
I'll take a sandwich. Anyway, we're going to get started off with this question here, and it's from Noni. Hey there, nabbed this question from Night Fury Lover 31 off of Tumblr. After months of research, Eggman discovers the ultimate weapon to use on hedgehogs, a giant toilet paper tube. Is Sonic tempted to stick his head in it? Would he get stuck? Can the other hedgehogs resist the urge to try?
Well, first, Sonic is just kind of amused, a trifle insulted. I mean, what, it's a cardboard tube? Does it do anything? I'm just supposed to look at it? Is that the big plan? Are you serious? 5 minutes later, he's stuck. And he's kind of chagrined. All right, mea culpa. It's on me. Tails? Anybody? Can't get help? I can't believe I'm saying this. Help! That's when Shadow kind of skates up and just shakes his head, and you're an absolute idiot. How did you get your head stuck in a paper tube? It isn't even that appealing. I can't hear him. His head's stuck in the tube. Fine, I'll walk around to the other end. And that's how Amy finds them, each stuck on either end like a Chinese finger trap. And on the outside, Amy is saying, you guys are ridiculous. And on the inside, she's saying, if I'd been here 5 minutes faster, could have been me stuck in that tube.
On the opposite end of Sonic, yes. It's the smooch tube.
Bring Silver in. Oh my gosh, you guys have tubes? I've heard of these legendary things. Can I try it next?
In my future, we only have half pipes. Oh, man.
I finally found it. The cylinder trigger.
Shadow could chaos control out, but it's funnier if he doesn't.
For some reason, he put the emerald in first, so he's like trying to touch it with his tongue, just to make the circuit.
Yeah. Wow.
Eggman's sitting by. He's like, I can't believe this actually worked. I don't even want to stop it. This is too much fun.
Yeah.
Father, all the targets are within range. Hush. Just savor the moment.
Oh, man. Good.
All right, time to send in the killer robot. Metal Sonic attack. Father, he's stuck in a tube. Go for the lava.
Oh, man. I need to be able to breathe, Ian. What are you doing to me?
Apologies. Let's move on.
I've already had to mute it once for coughing fit. Just gonna get everyone in the tube. All right, Nova Polydua has a question. We now see that Sonic with Enerjack is a chill but stylin' hedgehog in golden armor. We know all there is about Archie Nux as Enerjack, but I gotta ask, the one to take over the Hex isn't Nux, but our favorite edgelord. How do all the Shadows games pre-Shadow the Hedgehog, X, and Boom under the influence of Enerjack go?
Not well, I'd imagine. Pre-Shadow? I mean, that gives us SA2 and Heroes to work off of. Heroes, he's kind of directionless. And for most of SA2, he wants to blow up the world. So Shadowjack's just going to, skip the Eclipse cannon and blow up the Earth with one gigantic Chaos Spear. Thanks, Nova. That you killed us all. X, I guess kind of the same thing. He follows mostly the same beats. And Boom, he's a jerk, so maybe he's just raining down fire and destruction to toughen everybody else up.
All right. Here's this one from Oscar the Bearcat. Whisper agrees to go to a costume party with Tangle, but doesn't want to wear a costume. Tangle says she'll make Whisper part of her costume and goes as Little Red Riding Hood. Is Whisper embarrassed or insulted?
I think the bigger question is, how do you deal with stories like that in a world that have animals and people working side by side? Like, is Little Red Riding Hood horribly racist in Sonic's universe? Oh, the poor little human getting terrorized by the wolf. Of course!
Yes, of course. Of course.
I'm probably applying entirely too much thought to this silly question.
Yeah.
I think Whisper's going to be fine with it. It's what kind of rankles her is that Tangle took her cloak to make the Little Red Riding Hood. Specifically didn't want that cloak dyed bright red, Tangle.
Oh, no.
Supposed to help with the camo. Tangle's like, it'll wash out. It'll wash out. 7 cycles later, and Tangle is dyed red. That hood is still bright tomato red.
Mm-hmm.
She'll buy you a new one.
That's right. Good. Here's one from Pandolce. Hello, Ian. Is Dr. Deep's goatee fake? It looks pretty fake to me.
Depends on how you want to define fake, because I'm sure it's real hair.
I don't know. It's like that 3D hair that's actually plastic. That 3D modeled hair.
3D modeled hair.
Yeah, because he's a 3D model.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought you were saying people were actually modeling like 3D printed hair.
Well, 3D print, you can 3D print hair. That's a
Really?
different, that's a different thing though. I don't think it's not made of real hair. It's,
I was going to say, can you actually do like protein chains and do that? Or am I thinking too Star Trek?
I don't think so, but maybe. I don't know. I haven't looked into it that much.
Jean-Luc walks up to the replicator. Earl Grey, hot, also to pay.
He probably could have. I don't know why he never did. Probably because, he was like way better bald, but
Well, it's the Enterprise, so there'd be some kind of glitch in like the caffeine infuses with the hairpiece. And oh no, it's a tribble again.
That's true, because it happened because it would have happened on the show, so it's got to have drama involved.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, forgot about that. Pickly Pack is here with a question. When most people talk about Sonic and Nikki in the Shokugakan manga, they usually refer to them in the sense that Sonic is nothing but the secret identity of Nikki. But in the issue entitled At Last, We Learn the Truth About Sonic, it is shown that 20 years before the events of the manga, Sonic helped Nikki's father, Polly, from nearly crashing his plane. This event would lead to Polly meeting the woman he would later marry, Brenda. Because of this, that would have to mean that Sonic existed way before Nikki was even a thought in his parents' heads. This leads me to believe that Sonic, in this universe, is actually a spirit who sometimes gains possession over Nikki, and not the secret identity of Nikki. Think of it like an ancient god sometimes getting possession over a random elementary schooler. The kid himself is not the ancient god. Would my thought process be right on this, or am I simply thinking about it wrong?
I've not been able to access the original manga to read it all myself, so I'm taking your assessment at face value, and that sounds on point to me. But again, I'm taking this secondhand, so
yeah,
I can't verify one way or the other.
It's like Shazam, or apparently Yu-Gi-Oh! Or that Sonic is Nikki from the future, or I don't know, man. It could be anything. Kind of awkward, but cool nonetheless. Should bring that back. You should do that, Ian.
I'm thinking of Nikki and Sonic like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or bridged Yami and Yugi. Yugi, it doesn't matter now what happens. I will never give up the fight.
Good. Here's one from Professor Scruffy Matt. Happy Times recently pointed out something to me regarding Enerjack. In his first appearance, Enerjack yeeted Knuckles and Archimedes into the middle of the Sandopolis Zone. In his second appearance, he left Chaotix for dead in the Sandopolis Zone too, tied up to bake in the blistering heat. Then when Knuckles took on the mantle of Enerjack, he yeeted all the dingoes, not the dingles, the dingoes, into the middle of the Sandopolis zone. So would you say that yeeting your enemies into the Sandopolis zone is part of the package of becoming Enerjack? Is it, as the saying goes, phenomenal cosmic power yeeting enemies into the desert? Or is this more of a case of Knuckles being easily influenced by Dimitri's previous actions as Enerjack? Knuckles see, Knuckles do. Does it specifically have to be the Sandopolis zone, or will any old desert work?
It's more that it's a desert, and that's a bad place to be. There's no... I was going to say there's no greater thought to it. I'm sure folks can spin whatever they want out of it. If you want to find a greater meaning in it, by all means, do. But it's a big place, full of sand, and it's hot, and things die out there really easy. So, and it's right there. It's conveniently on the island. Just a simple hop, skip, and a yeet away. So why not take advantage of it?
Can confirm. That's everything about deserts you need to know. They are hot, and things die out there easily. But there's also certain...
It's cold.
Yeah.
And then things die out there also easily.
Yeah. But the things that live out there, man, they live hard. It's hard to kill them. Usually you give them too much water, and that will kill them, ironically enough. Here's one from Relaxed Hoodie. What are a couple of your favorite anime that people may deem underrated? Personally, I love Furikuri. So weird and out there, but not for everyone.
Who says Furikuri is underrated?
I was going to say, that's like one of the ones
Everybody loves Furikuri.
I was going to say, that's like one of the few I've seen.
Now, the sequel series I've heard middling reports on, and I haven't seen those, but the original, that's solid. I think everybody agrees it's good.
Yes. I enjoyed it.
I don't know if I can think of any that I've seen that are underrated. Most of what I've seen, everybody kind of agrees, no, this is a solid show. Or everyone agrees, no, this was pretty bad. Cowboy Bebop, obviously. I would say Outlaw Star was very formative for me. Kind of hard to go back to. Kind of see all the cracks in the pavement there, but it was still very formative, and it's very inventive. And you know what? It was somebody's artistic vision, so I can't really fault it for that.
People get throwing out names like Evangelion and Tenchi Muyo, and I'm like, these are like the most... the most rated anime of all time, I think.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, one could potentially argue that Tenchi and Evangelion are overrated. I'm not going to wade into those waters.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I haven't seen them. I'm like,
I mean,
horrendously out of touch with anime.
I mean, Tenchi was definitely formative for me. Kagato, what more do I need to say? That's like one of the best villains out there. I'm talking Muyo Kagato, not Universe's watered down discount dishwater Kagato. Get out of here with that. I'm talking creepy Baron Von evil shadow hands playing the organ as the heroes come out to confront him full Ganondorf. Yeah, that's the kind of villain I'm talking about.
All right. Well, let's move on to this next question here from Recipe. Sonic in the latest Fang special was very on point and liked by everyone. Why can't he be written like this in the main comics or even in the games?
That's how he's always written.
I don't know.
I have seen some discourse on it, dissecting it and delving into the greater meanings and things behind. It's like, no, that's just how you write Sonic. Classic is generally a little more lighter in the narrative, but he's no different than modern, really, when you get down to it. There's no greater statement or thesis to be had. It's Sonic is Sonic.
Yep. Here's a question from Rogers. Do you think that the Sonic movie design from the leaked Chris Pratt poster and the test footage would have fared better if it was the one in the original trailer for the Sonic movie?
I don't know. It certainly feels a little closer to standard than what we were ultimately presented with.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like there would probably be still some friction to it, but it wouldn't necessarily be as vitrolic as what we got after the Meow fiasco. It would be kind of fun to hop timelines and take somebody from that reality that saw that and is like super mad that he's so off model and he looks so fuzzy. It's terrible. It's like, no, come to my reality. See what it could have been.
Check this one out.
Good.
Check this one out. Yeah. But then you got Chris Pratt. So, take the good with the bad, I guess. And before we take a break, here's one from Sammy. Is there anyone in the SonicCast Eggman doesn't know the name of? Of course he knows the names of Sonic, Shadow, Knuckles, etc. But I think the idea that he calls Tails Foxboy because he thinks so little of him that he couldn't be bothered to learn his name is absolutely hilarious and the most Eggman thing to do.
You're not wrong. That is funny. But I'm pretty sure he knows everybody, at least on a first name basis.
He knows Tails. He usually refers to him as like Prower or something, as lately anyway. And he does say Tails.
That's also...
He does call him Tails in other stuff too. Like in SA1 apparently he calls him Tails. So
SA2 is, the rivalry between the two of them, and then by Frontiers a lot's transpired. I think he knows most everybody's name, if nothing else, just to have the catalog data.
Yeah. He doesn't know Starline's name, though.
Although it would be funny if, after all the engagement with the Chaotix, he still doesn't really know them. He knows they're the Chaotix, but beyond that, you, tall one, the one I hired.
Yeah,
do your detective thingy.
I was gonna say he spent like a whole game talking to him. You think he'd have figured out something about them by now?
He never really refers to them by name. He sends them that little walkie-talkie. He's like, "I've heard good things about your services." He never says anything about them specifically.
True, I suppose. Tall Chaotix, Purple Chaotix, and B Chaotix. There we go. That's what he calls them.
Where are you going to mail this to? The Chaotix. And what's the address?
The
Chaotix. I don't know. I haven't bombed there yet. What do you want from me?
The Chaotix. I mean, you put that on the letter. They'll figure out where it needs to go.
It's like Harvard. You just put the name. Everyone knows where it is.
It's like North Pole. Does he know the diamond cutters' names? Tangle and Whisper and Lanolin?
Target 1, Target 2, Target 3.
Yep, I was going to say. And he still doesn't know Starline's name. Never did. He just knows him as Doctor. And that's only because that's what he was told. Poor Starline. Oh well, I don't feel really bad for him. But I do feel bad for anybody who's still listening to this and hasn't taken a break yet. So let's take a quick break and then come back with more on the BumbleKast. We're back and we got a question from Scurvy Pirate Hog. Starline's Isekai adventures continue. This time he falls into the first episode of Sonic Prime, but he falls straight into the Paradox Prism. So he ends up being the one who destroys it instead of Sonic, thus taking place within the show. How does the events of Starline Prime go?
Well, assuming he follows the same trajectory as the show, he winds up in New York first.
Yeah.
And is rather pleased with the horribly oppressed efficiency of the city. It's run by Eggman. Goodness! He's in heaven. He's in heaven. And he hardly can wait to go meet the bosses. Except they're even more dysfunctional than his Eggman.
Mm-hmm.
So the disillusionment settles in real fast. And he figures, okay, maybe he can fix this. Fast track it to him just replacing the Eggman. What are 5 inferior Eggmen to 1 brilliant one? And nope, goes poorly, and he gets yeeted into Boskage. And it's too green, too many plants, not enough industry. He hates it here. Fast track him. He's begging Thorn to just wallop him into the next reality. But just get it over with. He's done. He doesn't even want to try. It's not worth taking over. And then he's into no place. So they're pirates. All right. Ruthless, cunning, conquering. He can get on board with this. And who is he to pass up a little bit of playing upon the boards, if you will? And that's when Dreadnoks makes him walk off the plank immediately, and the Isekai adventures continue.
Perfect. Here's a question from Smash Zapper 85. Is Blaze having Iblis inside her canon or a guess?
Canon insofar as we have a direct scene of it in a game? I mean, we see her absorb Iblis and then poof.
And then it's
But-
just never unabsorbs him. Like, we never see
Yeah.
it, like, it's come back out or anything. I mean, that doesn't mean it didn't happen, but,
There's no, like, hard counter argument to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to, like, stake my claim as, official lore guy. This happens and is an unresolved plot point. We must do this. It's kind of a factoid. It's a bit of trivia.
Yeah. Plus, I just think it's
a talking
cool.
point.
I just think it's cool. I just think it's neat. I just think Blaze is neat, Ian.
Like, did you know there was a Game Gear game where Sonic could throw a Hadouken, but it got dummied out? That's canon? Question mark? I don't know. I think we should make it more of a point to say that Blaze has a literal god inside of her. Because why not? Maybe go full JoJo and that's her stan.
Because why not? I mean, probably. Let Blaze take out the planet. Let her do it. Stephen A. has a question. What's your karaoke choices if we both had to do karaoke together? Why do we have to do it together? Like, at the same time, we both have to do it? I don't know.
Well, it's karaoke. It's for maximum cringe.
Crush 40 is the easy go-to, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like vocal tracks. Otherwise, I don't know. Don't Stop Believing. That's what I'm being screamed at right now. I was always more a fan of Separate Ways myself. We're talking Journey songs, but Don't Stop Believing's pretty good. Whale in the Sky also good. All right, here's one from some Blister 16. Starline is isekai'd into the classic era and meets his younger self. What does classic Starline look and act like? How does each Starline react to the other's fashion sense? And what does modern Starline do to help his past self? What with knowing what his own future holds? Or does he even try to help, knowing he'll create a time paradox if he gives himself any advice or insight? And last but not least, how long before he gets stuffed into a motobug?
Now, the tempting thing to do is just make a nice little chibi-roly-poly Starline. But we know he's been an Eggman fanboy forever. So maybe he basically has the same general color scheme, but he's in that, like, high-waisted Eggman waiter pants with just, like, the shirt. Would he have a cape? Or would it be, like, a scarf? Some form of accoutrement that, would go on there, but looks very, very classic Eggman-y.
Yeah.
Got to have the Mickey Mouse gloves. Straight up.
Important. It's very important. Is he like fully decked out in Eggman merch? It's like the Eggman Land merch.
Instead of like Deadly Robots and collections of past badniks, because we haven't had a lot of past badniks by this point. It's just a fanboy cave.
It's very odd. It's very strange. It's very scary.
And modern Starline would be very nostalgic at first. This is where it all began. Where the first thoughts of world domination and conquest and siding with Eggman started to form and shape who he was. And this is the perfect opportunity to correct the trajectory. He can fix this.
Yeah.
He can tell his past self that Eggman is certainly a genius, but he's not what he thinks he is. And so he can temper his expectations and make sure that he doesn't make the future mistakes. But classic Starline is not going to hear anything about that. How dare you besmirch the glorious image and name of Dr. Eggman?
Right.
And they get into a terrible fight. And modern Starline is far more experienced, so he managed to successfully kill himself. Oh, wait, that's his past self.
That's bad. Well, Isekai adventures continue.
Son of a biscuit. Did I just isekai myself?
Yes, he did. right into. I like he actually knows the term for it.
He's bound to have learned it by now.
Probably. He's been through so many. He's been through so many. Here's a question from Supersonic Fan. What if Orbot joined Sonic as his newest sidekick?
Oh, Sonic would get tired of that real fast.
He would be very sick of Orbot, yes.
It's not like he has anything against Orbot specifically. I'm sure they're occupational enemies, but he's not going to hold a grudge. But Orbot's a bit of a sycophant.
Yeah.
And kind of clingy when he wants to be and not very fast. So, no, Not a fan. He'll stick with Tails. Thanks very much. You can go back to Eggman. Really, no, it's not a problem. No, he's not offended. It's fine. Truly, just go home.
I would like it. Spoiler 1001 has a question. On a beautiful day on Angel Island, what are Mighty and Knuckles doing as a date? Okay.
I don't know.
That escalated quickly.
Hiking. Hiking, exploring, camping.
Punching
sparring.
Mountains. Punching mountains.
Yeah.
Showing off their rock collection. I don't know, man. I like it. Why not? System 509 has a question. You've spoken about how difficult it can be to get characters into different outfits, but it seems outfit changes have become more common in IDW since the early days of the book. So I'm wondering, is it still difficult getting outfit changes approved by the bosses? Personally, I'd like to see Vanilla and Clutch rocking some different outfits.
I can't speak to this personally because I've never had it as part of a script specifically that I can recall. I do know that some on the art team have specifically cited other outfits from like Sonic Channel art or alternate costumes in the game, stuff that has been already approved by Sega from another department, saying, here it is, it's been done, we'd like to reference that. And that, from my understanding, has made things a little smoother. Beyond that, though, I can't really speak to the process.
All right. Here's one from Testing. What was striking Sonic at the entrance of every new island in Sonic Frontiers?
A mysterious power.
What was the mysterious power, Ian?
Something ancients technology.
Are we going to find out what it was ever, or is this just a thing that happens in this game?
I don't think I can get into the nitty gritty of it.
Oh, okay.
So that we'll just say it was a safeguard by the ancients. It works in mysterious ways, and just be content with that for now.
I'm being told it was a hashtag knowing smile. That's what hit him.
Yeah.
Right in the face. Or it was me. It was Kyle, apparently. Apparently it was me. I don't know what I did, but I was there somehow.
Moving too fast for the eye to see. Striking supersonic from behind, Knuckles style.
Yeah.
Nothing personal, kid. Pow!
Yeah. I'm being told hashtag knowing Kyle. I guess. I don't know anything, though, so don't look at me. There's one from the Oddly Roger. It's Valentine's. So, do you like cloth?
Kyle, help. I'm not getting the reference.
I'm not either. What is the call? Is this a Homestar Runner thing? Is it Valentine's?
That sounds like it.
I don't know. Hold on. I'm like, it could be not. Hold on. Let me look it up.
It sounds like something out of Teen Girl Squad, but it's going over my head.
It's really, yeah. I'm like, I'm lost. And also this is showing me the wrong thing. Yeah. What is going on here? Help me. Somebody help me. Does anybody know? Is this like you like jazz? It's a Teen Girl Squad reference, apparently. Okay.
Okay.
It is a Teen Girl Squad reference, is it? Okay, good. All right. Teen Girl Squad.
Well, there you go. My Homestar Runner foo is weak.
I like cloth. She likes cloth. That's a good band name. Thank you, chat, for helping us out. We are old and forgetful. Can't remember anything. One True Blue has a question. Lately, I've been playing games with silent protagonists, and Adolf from Ease has stuck out to me. While he isn't always a silent protagonist, he writes his adventures in a journal. He clearly talks to many people, but is portrayed silent, and it's frustrating to me. Anyways, what is your take on silent protagonists, and how would you write one?
Depends on why they're a silent protagonist. Like, if it's because you don't want a defined voice for them, if you want the player to engage with them and kind of insert their own narrative voice, that's fine. Like in the case of Link, maybe most famous of all.
Yeah.
The whole point is he's supposed to be the link between the player and the game. He was supposed to be the audience surrogate for a time, and that worked just fine because you are Link. You are controlling his adventure through wherever. But the more narrative heavy the games got and the more individual a character Link became, the less it made sense. Like I distinctly remember in Skyward Sword where he's explaining what happened to Zelda to Gaibora, and he's gesticulating silently, and I'm like, oh, for pity's sake.
He's been doing that like for decades though at this point.
Yeah.
For like most of 3D games.
Now, I did like how they lampshaded it in Breath of the Wild, because it's, he's kind of overwhelmed by his station, and he's kind of alone for most of the game. So he doesn't have an opportunity to talk too much. And when he does, he just doesn't like to engage. He's kind of shy and taciturn, which Zelda highlights on and then says, when they are just the two of them and they're comfortable with each other and they're able to confide in each other, then he just talks nonstop. And I thought that was charming. I thought that added a nice dimension to his character that kind of just lampshaded the fact that he doesn't talk otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Good move. Somebody like Chrono out of Chrono Cross. He doesn't speak. Trigger.
Yeah,
Trigger.
not Cross. Cross is different.
Yeah, very different.
Yeah.
He doesn't talk, but it doesn't feel like it's weird, because I think they kind of make fun of that a little bit, but he's just a stoic, silent type, and that's fine. That works.
Yeah.
So it's a question of, what are you doing with the character and how they are engaging in their world? Is it just because, silent protagonist, that's how games work? That's lazy. That has no thought put behind it. Why is your character silent? Is everybody particularly silent? Like, insofar as there's like no voice acting specifically and it's just text? Because I feel like you get away with that a bit more if you're just reading, because then you're bringing your own voice to everything. But if you have a voiced game and your character is interacting, then why are they silent so much of the time?
Mm-hmm.
One of the case in point, the in Genshin Impact, or even in Star Rail, the main character is silent for most of the time, but then they randomly have moments of actual speaking lines. And they're usually for like significant moments in the story, so it really does call your attention to it, but it feels more jarring than anything else.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, you're not mute.
Oh, you do talk.
Especially since the dialogue choices you have that are just text are usually pretty sassy and have some character to them. So, I don't know. I don't want to say it's just a bad move in general, because it can be used in legitimate ways if there is a reason for it. But that's for anything in the game design. There has to be a reason for why you're doing it a certain way, beyond just, this is how other games of the style have done it.
Yeah. I do have to say, though, that Adol from Ease, that's a very inspired example. I love me some Ease. So, hey, good. I'm glad to give it a shout out, Glad you used him as an example. That's pretty sweet. Twilord has a question. Discord suggested Shadow as poly with everyone for all the people on the planet. How do outsiders Blaze and Yakker react to Shadow going full Yevo? What is Yevo? I don't know. Is that what that means?
Oh, I think that's a Futurama reference.
Oh, everyone loves Shadow too, but Shadow loves everyone. It's backwards. Okay, it's a Futurama reference apparently. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
God, I feel like I'm walking into a tiger. I don't know. They visit and they're like, okay, this is different from what we remember. What very little Yakker. Did Yakker even interact with Shadow?
No.
Even in the DS version? I don't think he did.
I don't think so, no.
But, now that they're on the planet, they're fair game, I guess. Everyone's within the radius of Shadow's infinite love.
Ian, get your head out of that paper tube. Oh, no.
This is the ultimate courtship control.
Oh, no. Shadow's Riz is out of control, apparently. Flapping all over the place. No. Windstar Osprey is here with a question. Diamond Cutters live AU time. In an ideal world where the Diamond Cutters were never wiped out, how would the leadership dynamic change if both Lanolin and Smithy were on the team? Would Lanny remain a follower since she'd never really have a reason to step up to the leader position? Or would she become Smithy's second in command or co-commander? I'm in the latter camp, as well as a small subset of Cutters Live fans who ship the lion and the lamb. Yes, she's an adult sheep, but the reference is lost otherwise. But what would you have done if given the chance to make it happen? P.S. Support the AU ship of Similani. It is adorable and could have been post SGW, Jeff and Hershey. Thank you and have a nice day. Okay.
Well, the thing with the Diamond Cutters is, as Whisper says, they weren't like a fully structured unit. There was no singular commander. They kind of took each other's lead as need be. So while Smithy may have led the charge on occasion, he was not the leader. And I would imagine Lanlin following a similar trajectory as she already has, wanting to gain more control over her life and the circumstances surrounding them, would come into the Diamond Cutters wanting to bring that structure and direction. So she would, not necessarily want to be the leader, but she would want a more organized effort. And I think just kind of fall into the leadership role. I think we should do it this way. All right. Well, who's going to lead us? Well, it's your plan. You do it. Oh, okay. So I don't think it's so much as she would seize power as she kind of fall upwards into it.
Also, I am realizing now that I read it as live when it should be live.
Mm-hmm.
When they live. Yeah, but it's funnier to think Diamond Cutters live. It's like it's a stage show. Tangle would love that. Tangle would do it.
The cross-country tour begins this August.
Yep. Tangle would absolutely put on the Diamond Cutters live. They're a band. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, she's definitely a groupie. She follows them to every show.
Who, Tangle?
Yeah, front row seat. She's got the hologram wand every single show.
She's in the band, Ian.
No. The Diamond Cutters live, so she's not part of that group.
Oh, okay. See, we're talking the original Diamond Cutter. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Diamond Cutters live.
Diamond Cutters live, so they're live. And they're live because they lived.
Diamond Cutters live. They're live. They're alive. I don't know. I don't know, man. All I do know is we have this one last thing from Axis. Hey, Ian, could you and Kyle sing the song Raising Me Up from Sonic Rush together? One could sing the chorus and the other the main lyrics. Also, feel free to ask anyone else on the team to join. That may be a little too much, but we'll figure something out.
And before we get started on that, just a note, because this kind of got grandfathered in. This came in before we said, okay, we need to separate songs into a completely different thing because they add a significant amount of time to editing the show. So this one's already in the can. Yeah, we're not going to say, no, go back and start over from the beginning. But going forward, we need you to, if you have a song request, which we're fine with, continue to ask us to do stupid, silly stuff. That's a separate charge than just a regular priority question going forward. So thank you for your understanding. Thank you for your support. And thank you for enduring it as we do this song. 3, 2, 1. When I was down, you'd pick me up. When I was low, you'd raise me up. When I was down, you'd pick me up. When I was low, you'd raise me up. You took me higher. Catch me up, catch me up. You took me higher. And that's going to wrap us up for this edition of the BumbleKast. Thank you to everyone who supported the show through patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, and our YouTube members. Be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and we will see you next time on the BumbleKast.
Back to back, and it's spinning on its back, back to back. The turntables whack. Is that what it says? Turntables whack? I don't know, man.
Oh, I have no idea.
Okay. Well, let's get out of here. Bye.
Quick stir. Put the moist Nermy in the oven.
People just don't like wet stuff out of context, apparently. Wart?
I can see
Wart? That's a funny word, honestly. Phlegm? I don't know. Snot? That's a word people don't like. Barf? Your mom walked into the room and is slowly backing it. Well, you know what? She walked into a teenager's room. She should know what she gets.
Hi, Mom.
Yep. It's Gets what she deserves, I suppose.
Probably not the best thing to do before we record.
Noni, please draw stick figures for the thumbnail. I'm surprised you haven't yet. The worst stick figures? Good. Because your worst stick figures will probably be better than my best anyway, so do it. You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org.
Yep, sorry, I just got an email real quick.
Oh, Sega says you're fired.
Quite the opposite.
Oh.
Okay. That was what I was hoping to hear back.
Sega says you're hired twice. Now you do 2 times the work for the same price.
I hate it. All right.
Ian, bring back the Freedom Fighters. Ian,
I can try.
We're talking about the Freedom Fighters from the 2002 video game Freedom Fighters for the original Xbox. Don't ask what that has to do with Sega or the Freedom Fighters or anything. That's completely unrelated. Just bring them back.
All right. Enough chicanery. You're an ill man who needs time. Jeez. Let's get through this.
I am always an ill man, Ian. You should know this by now. I've got problems.
I don't mean, morally ill, because that's my wavelength. That's fine. I mean physically ill. I mean robust so that we can do our normal chicanery.
I'm mentally ill, morally ill, illin like a villain. I'm 90s ill or whatever. I'm here. Let's go.